What you are about to hear will blow your mind and give you six-pack abs without even exercising.
Pull up a bar stool and relax.
Hey, who wants to have some fun?
You've made it to Happy Hour with John Gaskins.
Oh, no. Not again.
Get ready for entertaining local and regional sports talk that will change your life. Or not.
And by the way, when you're telling these little stories, here's a good idea. Have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
Here's your host, John Gaskins.
Here's Johnny. Hello! Ah!
I'm back, baby! I'm back!
Hey, happy hour, and what a day. Midweek, late June. This is supposed to be the dog days of summer, and holy smokes, do we have headlines to get to. A landmark NCAA legislation that was passed that is great news for some current college athletes, terrible news for some that just graduated, and wipe the sweat off your brow news for Chase Mason. Right now, the most dynamic athlete in South Dakota going. So I'll explain in a moment. Huge, the 5-for-5 rule that is going to be challenged in court. The Sioux Falls Canaries are changing their name. They're changing their name on Friday. Starting Friday. What's it going to be? Didn't they learn their lesson from the Sioux Falls Pheasants? And then we have two guests today to talk about two huge recent developments. In case you didn't see it, you wake up today, our mayoral election, two candidates, over 36,000 votes. And one came ahead by 2 votes. They're going to have to recount, and we won't know for 2 weeks if Christine Erickson or Jamie Smith is going to be the mayor of Sioux Falls. Patrick Lally will break that all down with us at the Orion Pub. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, their big trade to get rid of Julius Randle, have more money for Ayo Dosunmu. But a lot of people think that the Wolves gave up a lot here, that Tim Connelly had a rare flop that could cost the Wolves chances at titles in years to come. We'll see what CJ thinks. He's the University of Sioux Falls coach and Timberwolves diehards that always has a formidable opinion. And he'll be at Orion Pub with us as well. But let's start with 5-for-5, the new rule that is designed to eagerly lessen the chaos of the transfer portal era, this craziness. It's not going to stop athletes from going anywhere they want, not yet. You can go to as many schools as you want for as long as you want. You can have as much movement as you want, and that's the number one thing that a lot of, certainly coaches, a lot of administrators, and plenty of fans, they're tired of. But this doesn't affect the transfer portal yet. But it is a new eligibility model unanimously approved by the Division I cabinet, and it applies at the moment to only Division I athletes. But Chris Johnson will touch upon this at the Orion Pub briefly before we get to Wolves. He believes that this will filter on down to all divisions. But for now, it's a Division I thing. And what is it? It allows 5 seasons of competition over a 5-year period that begins with their full-time enrollment, or specifically, mainly for hockey players after hockey folks protested this and pushed back, or following the 19th birthday, whichever occurs first. Some of those hockey players, they play junior league hockey. They don't get to college until they're 19, a year after most kids and athletes do. So anyway, you get 5 seasons of athletic competition over a 5-year period. It used to be 5-for-4. And the main thing about this is gone are red shirts. You can sit out a year to develop your craft, but then you're only going to get 3 years, not 4 after that. Or wait a second, you will get 4. So I hope I'm not confusing you already, but you get 5 seasons and you don't get a 6th. That's the deal. If you can stay healthy for all 5 and don't redshirt, then you get to play for 5 years. And so let's apply this to the South Dakotans because there are all kinds of examples of players who are lucking out and missing out on this whole thing. It's not going to be enacted until 2027, starting in the fall of 2027. So Chase Mason lucked out in this 5-for-5 deal because Chase Mason's already gone through 5 seasons of eligibility in college. Yeah, he was hurt for a while and had to take medical hardship. Yes, he redshirted when he was a baseball player at Nebraska. But anyway, Chase Mason went through 5 seasons of athletic competition, whether he was actually playing or not. Of course, he had the transfer to South Dakota State from Nebraska after his very first semester at Nebraska. But if this rule started right now, fall of 2026, the gunslinger whose Jackrabbit national title hopes rests on, all of a sudden, bye-bye, no more Chase Mason. He wouldn't be allowed. He's had 5 seasons in NCAA athletics. You don't apply for medical hardships. You can't redshirt. I mean, you can, but anyway, he'd be done because his college career started in 2021. But fortunately, it's basically grandfathered in. He's grandfathered in. Aiden Bauman, there's an example of a player who just who fit into both 5-for-5 and the old model, 5-for-4. Of course, in the old model, the NCAA gives you a blanket year, and that would be a redshirt year. Aiden Bauman actually had 6 years himself from 2020 to 2026, or the 6 football seasons from 2020 to 2026, but he got a COVID year. And all those COVID seasons, those extra years that athletes got that allowed some athletes to play in their sport for 5 or 6 seasons, which, by the way, there were plenty on that SDSU national title team 2023. Guys like Mason McCormick, they got an extra year of eligibility. So they were a year more mature, a year better, just this rare experience, wealth of experience that Jackrabbits had. Yeah, Mason McCormick would have been a guy that would have been able to play that extra year, but we had that COVID year. And the COVID stuff, that sprang free. All of these guys we've heard about, these ridiculous 6, 7, 8, 9 years of college athletic eligibility. There's a guy at Miami, several different teams, 9 years. He somehow scratched out between the COVID year and medical hardship years and a redshirt year. 9 years, to paraphrase Ed Rudy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. 9. And that whole COVID year, and then, okay, well, now we get COVID years and medical hardship and redshirt, and you can have all those gone. This is why we have this new 5-for-5 approved unanimously and likely to be enacted. So Aiden Bauman had a redshirt year at Iowa State, and then he got to play 2022, 23, 24, 25, 4 years at USD, played sparingly in that redshirt freshman year, and then was basically the man his last 3 years. Okay. But certainly his time is up as well. No grandfathering him in of him because he's a year older than Chase Mason. Brooklyn Meyer, an example of someone who was just maybe born a year too soon for this. Brooklyn Meyer, one of the best Jackrabbit women's basketball players of all time, does not get a 5th year. She was only in college for 4 years. She only played 4 seasons because she didn't redshirt. She never had a medical hardship. And unfortunately, she doesn't get grandfathered in. Her time, her 5-for-4, in which she only needed 4, are up. So she's graduated, and she's going to join, by the way, as she is eligible to play volleyball for SDSU this upcoming fall. We learned that. But she will not get to play more basketball. She's had 4 seasons of that. As far as I know, I could be wrong. I could be just as confused as you. But Brooklyn Meyer and Angie Robles, the USD stud, who spent her first 3 years at Denver, never redshirted, played right away, 3 seasons there, 1 phenomenal year with USD, reviving that program for Carrie Amy. And basically a band of mercenaries and transfers coming to turn the Coyotes around immediately. Angie Robles, from what I take it, does not just get an extra year because of the 5-for-5 passing. Again, I could be wrong, but this is what I translate because she's had 4 seasons and she'll graduate. Now, so Chase Mason in, Brooklyn Meyer, Angie Robles out. But here's the whopper. Here's really a sweet spot. Brooklyn Meyer born a year too soon. Bergen Riley and Avery Coonan born just at the right time. Avery Coonan, the Summit League Player of the Year, at least officially, as voted on by those who officially vote. Many felt it was Brooklyn Meyer, and Brooklyn got the last laugh, leading the Jacks to the Summit League tournament title, and of course, winning the tournament MVP award in Sioux Falls when it counted the most. But Avery Coonan did redshirt, and she has played 3 years. She already had 1 more year of eligibility under the old model. She's only been around for 3 seasons, and now she gets an extra year. This young lady, as far as I know, Avery Coonan gets another year, and Bergen Riley, one of the best athletes, period, team sport athletes to ever come out of South Dakota. She's one of the best volleyball players in the history of Nebraska. And as you know, the Huskers are one of the 3 best, winningest, and most national title teams of all time. And of all the decorated players, Bergen Riley is the first to ever have 3 straight years of Conference Setter of the Year, 3 straight years as an All-American. Each in her first 3 years, she was the National Setter of the Year last year. And guess what? She gets 2 more years, not 1. We thought this was her last chance to win a national title and make more history individually and as a Husker. Nope. Now Bergen Riley gets 2026 and 2027 under the new 5-for-5 rule. Incredible. This was all introduced by Craig Bull, the former North Dakota State head football coach, guided them to their first 3 national championships, and now he's a big part of being in the NCAA and FCS boardrooms to help initiate, and in this case, make the changes that can hopefully stem the tide of the ills of what's been getting out of hand eligibility-wise in NCAA sports. So the last thing I can modify here to hopefully enlighten and clarify and not confuse all of you. For athletes coming back in 2026, the school will use the model that gives them the most eligibility. The school will use the model that will give them the most eligibility. So if you're coming into school this fall, no matter what sport you're in, if you got more eligibility under the old 5-for-4 model, then the school will apply that for you. If you get more eligibility like a Bergen Riley under the new model, all of a sudden, voila, an extra year you didn't think you would get. Well, guess what? The school can use that. So there's liberties these schools can use to make sure current athletes get more, except for if you're the likes of, as far as I take it, Brooklyn Meyer and Angie Robles. They played from 2022 to 2026, and they are done. Another great example that I heard Dom Izzo give on his show today up in Fargo, that Nathan Hayes, the expected North Dakota State quarterback, he redshirted. His 5th year starts now. This is going to be it, though. He does not get an extra year. I hopefully you can understand the difference between him and maybe an athlete like Bergen Riley, who didn't start their college eligibility until 3 years ago, 2023, not 2022 when Nathan Hayes did. I'm just going to ask Cordell, and I know what his answer is going to be because I think we can move on. Do you get all that? Cordell, does that all make sense? That's the most important thing about the Johnalog today. Did that make sense? Yes. Good. And I'll emphasize one more time, this does not do anything to change the movement that college athletes are able to have right now. You can transfer without sitting out a year as many times as you want. Now, there are people who are most likely trying to change that, and that might be changed in the future. The other thing to know is, of course, there's already been lawsuits filed. There are going to be athletes that are going to try to sue the NCAA over this so they can get another year of eligibility that others get. Those, again, those that would probably fall in the camp of, say, a Brooklyn Meyer or an Angie Robles. Never redshirted, never medical hardship. They think they should get another year, but they won't. So lawsuits are going, but this supposedly will be enacted starting officially now, but really in the 2027 is when the grandfathers for people like Chase Mason stop. I tried to get perspective from Jackrabbit and Coyote, coaches, football and basketball, plus athletic directors. The response on that has been a little slow. So I might have more response on tomorrow's show where we might talk about this a little bit more with Trent Singer. But I did get a response from John Schemmel, the USD athletic director, who's always pretty good at immediate responses. And here's his reaction to the 5 for 5. He likes it because it's a meaningful step in a positive direction that establishes some controls in place and eliminates the waiver processes that have been consuming compliance departments to overwhelming degrees. I'm glad I slipped that in there at the end here, Cordell, because athletic departments get bogged down by compliance processes, just putting together all that paperwork to see if a player missed enough time to get an extra year of eligibility, whether it be through an injury or through a redshirt, whatever. John Schemmel says this is the 5 for 5, far from perfect, but it's something. It is something. And above all, we need to keep taking steps to reestablish some governance and controls. Now, he also says, hopefully, the next steps will include portal limitations. As we mentioned, that wasn't a part of this, but ADs and coaches would like that. You know a coach who would really love that? USD men's coach Eric Peterson, who will be on our show tomorrow and who just suffered most of his roster leaving on him, which most Summit League men's coaches did. North Dakota State won the damn league, regular season and tourney title, and all of their best players that would be eligible next year are gonzo. So it happens to the best. It happens to teams like USD who were in the middle of the pack this year. Eric Peterson's thoughts on the 5 for 5. He just texted this to me. I'm not kidding. This just came in. He thinks overall it provides some structure. The hardest part is, what if a kid gets hurt twice? Josiah Dotzler has been out for 2 seasons with ACL injuries. He just lost those years. Eric Peterson likes that kids are still able to do postgraduate for a year if they want to. It stinks for this year's seniors. They missed the COVID year and they missed the 5 for 5 year. There will be a ton of lawsuits. I'm wondering what that will do and if more people become eligible before the fall. So, everything you just learned for the last 17 minutes, maybe it's for good, maybe it's on hold. But that's the latest news today, and things you should know just in case it will be for good. Meanwhile, speaking of things that I think most people would hope are not for good, because the Sioux Falls Canaries already made this mistake once, and it just turned out to be an incredible bomb when they changed their nickname from the Canaries. Remember the Pheasants in 2010? Sorry. Remember the Pheasants in 2010? Get that word out. I haven't even started drinking today. Gary Weckworth, who joined our show to talk about this last year, was the owner of the Sioux Falls Canaries, and they decided, let's just make a splash. Let's change the nickname. We want to get more people out to the ballpark. They're not going to Canaries games. There are not enough of them. Let's change the nickname. See if we can create a splash, sell some new merchandise. We'll call them the Fighting Pheasants, and it's at least germane to South Dakota, the state bird, the pheasant, right? People hated it. I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty cool. Gary said he did not regret it when he joined the show last summer, but it was controversial, and it's still a matter of ire, if not scorn, out of the old bird cage and in the community, that the Canaries ever dared change that nickname And the Sioux Falls Canaries minor league baseball clubs started over 100 years ago. Always been the Canaries. Oh, except for that time in the 60s when they had a team called the Sioux Falls Packers. Okay, and then there were 25 or so years from the Packers, who were an actual affiliated ball club for the Cincinnati Reds, to the early 90s. There was no minor league baseball at all, no pro baseball in Sioux Falls. They brought the Canaries back, and it had been the Canaries for almost 20 years until Gary Weckworth changed that. And then after 3 seasons, with pheasants being of little use, with the not drawing any more people to the park, and only being, for the most part, a matter of scorn, he brought the Canaries back. And part of the reason for that, well, hey, let's make that splash. Guess what? You got what you wanted, folks. We're the Canaries again. Woohoo! Let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate our mistake by overturning it. Sometimes that's done in world and American politics, by the way. Maybe I can think of an example going on right now. Anyway, so they became the Canaries again. They've been the Canaries for 13 years, and Gary Weckworth has long sold the team. And in fact, the guys he sold the team to long sold the team 5 years ago to the current owners, who are going on their 6th season. And now they're changing the name. Starting on Friday night, the Sioux Falls Canaries are going to be the Minnehaha Martians. America's transfixation with the paranormal, the extraterrestrial, aliens has grabbed the grip, and the Canaries want to be at the forefront of maximizing and marketing this. So they're the Minnehaha Martians now, and they're going to celebrate this. This just came in a press release I just got this afternoon. They'll kick it off. They're right in the middle of the season. Why wait till the end of the season? Just bang, middle of the season. School's out. Most youth sports are done. More people start showing up at the ballpark anyway. A lot of weddings that would conflict. Most weddings are done. The wedding season's done by late June. So let's capitalize on that, and let's just start the Minnehaha Martians now on the first game of a 6-game homestand that starts on Friday night, and we'll call it Area 51 night. Brilliant. There will be a fireworks show after the game. The Canaries will wear and debut those new jerseys. And to boot, fans can bid on those jerseys in an online auction that has already started now. You can find the barcode, sfcanaries.com. I think we have it up here, right here on the show, if you're watching on SiouxFallsLive.com. So, Minnehaha Martians debuting on Friday night. Special uniforms. The Canaries are no longer colored with yellow and royal blue. It looks like it's a little bit darker of a royal blue, and green. Green will be the Minnehaha Martians' primary color. An ode to the county they reside and the alien phenomenon that is gripping America. I mean, it has my whole life. I was 4 when E.T. came out. But it's really sprung. So here it is, the Minnehaha Martians. I mean, I think it's fun. I think it's cute. But didn't we learn our lesson from the pheasants? Isn't this a little rash? Is the public really going to like this, or are they going to think it's just a stupid gimmick? Wait a second. It's only for Friday night. Shocking, maybe. April Foolish, yes. And also, if you've been paying attention, the Canaries have done this 3 years in a row. And they are certainly taking a page from their brethren right across the road in the Denny Sanford Premier Center, the Sioux Falls Stampede. Both clubs used to be owned by the same owner. Not any longer. But the Herd have had an incredible thing going with Wiener Dog Night and changing the nickname to the Sioux Falls Fighting Wiener Dogs. Once a year for about a decade. I think they've had 11 of those now, and it's always a huge crowd. And the last 2 crowds, they haven't been sellouts, 4,000 plus at the Birdcage, but it's been one of the more popular nights of the season. One of the more well-attended promotions. So they're doing it again, but for one night only. The Canaries are the Minnehaha Martians. Bid on those jerseys that in some cases you literally take off the players' backs and take home with you. The announcements of the bidding war winners will be announced after the game. Go to the game, bid, and then get your jersey if you win it. Domestic beers will be $3.50. There will be a fireworks show after the game, just like every Friday. And then Saturday night, kind of sticking with that theme, it's Pokemon night at the ballpark. The Canaries will not change their name to the Pokemons. They're just going to celebrate Pokemon with $3.50 domestic beers for an hour before first pitch. And then games on Sunday and Monday off to Sunday and Monday, Sunday off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just find the information at sfcanaries.com. Let's move on.